Hey guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you yet another Monster Legends Monster First Impressions video where we take a look at a new monster. It's a tad bit different from guides because it's either I don't usually have the monster. I never really used it, just going off by the skill slash move set. And ML journals is I've used the monster for a while and I've gotten a very very clear view of said monster. And impressions, it's just straight off the bat. I now have monster and I haven't used him yet. I don't know the scale of stupidity. And with the other two things that it's usually. With the guides, it's usually impression, like their assumptions. It's like, oh, this is probably gonna be this level of stupidity, and on these videos, we actually just get to see how stupid it is. Is it stupid or is it not stupid? So I actually don't have all the runes locked. I'm actually making this video immediately after getting the old necromancer. So yeah, this is just straight off the bat. I don't have any other runes unlocked. It's two locked runes. I was unfortunate of having two runes locked on it. I hate that, but it's just how it is, I guess. I'm not the only one, so my fellow two locked rune brothers out there and sisters, and both, yeah, join me as we do a first impressions video on Chamless. So we're gonna level up Chamless. Does he actually start out with the? He doesn't. All right, so we gotta level him up. Now, I've sworn as a competitive player, as just like a knightly honor thing, what have you. This is a knight, so I can be knightly honorable. I've only sworn to ever use this thing against extra, like just 4-turn extra turn monsters. That's the only time you'll ever see me use this, and or just period. I for sure am going to use this monster. It would be like an insult to the work everyone put in to get Chamless. So I'm only ever gonna use him when it's appropriate, when it's like on the grounds that the enemy's doing the same thing. I think that's fair. Like against other Prince Chamless, I'm not really I don't really like this. In all honesty, my boys, I don't really like this monster. I hate, just straight off the bat, I hate anything that's kind of designed like Voltic. 4-turn extra turn skills is just ridiculous, especially if they're all cyclable and like you can just use them, and for the most part they are. You can just keep doing it's all like as soon as the monster gets to move, it's game. It's usually game. There's no if, buts, or coconuts. It's usually game at that point. I don't like these monsters that can just keep moving forever and just clear board just because they got a turn in. That's such a dumb concept to me. And they've done it again. They made another monster, my boys, that does it again. And you can get it up to rank 4. And yeah, it's crazy. So this is Epic Quest. This gives nature weakness to its enemy and applies an extra turn. We are running this skill. We are also going to get keep rapier and hit. This is a relatively low damaging skill. However, it does not matter, because it's really good cycling, and Epic Quest just makes it stronger. It's on a 1-turn cooldown. It's just good for cycle rotations. That's the thing with these extra, like 4-turn extra turn monsters. They have good cycling, and they just keep moving. We'll do Entangled Cloak. We are running this skill. This is on a 2-turn cooldown. It's just an extra turn skill. All of his skills are, obviously they're all extra turn skills. You really shouldn't be running that's not an extra turn skill with this thing, because that's just the main flair to it. That's why you're even running this thing, because it adds just 4 turns of extra turn skills, and it's dumb. So we're gonna run all 4, like 4 extra turn skills. We're not gonna not run a skill that's not an extra turn skill. There's no reason to do that. Though there is justification to not running full extra turn skills, like it's kind of anti-Faraday, or just anticipation. But I think I'd run this on Like if the majority of players are running this, yeah, probably won't. Yeah, I don't really know, but I might not run it on defense. Just kind of thinking about it, like it is a good monster to put on defense, but again, it's just play the bot. I don't like again. I just don't like these. I don't like these kind of monsters. They're just kind of dumb. I don't feel good playing them. Like in a situation where someone else isn't running it. Again, I'm only going to use this thing against Voltex, against Chamless play. That's the only time I'm bringing this up. I just, as a player, I just don't like it. I'm not saying the moves is bad. I'm just saying it's too good. It's the forbidden fruit, and you know what I'm saying? It's just too good for its own good. But yeah, that's just how it is. Sorry for like the awkward pausing. I just don't like. I just really hate. Well, I just hate just like the monster vote. Like I think it's just a dumb design. Like 4 turns of extra turns and they're doing it again. I just find it dumb. On a side note, I actually didn't know. Like, a lot of people were asking me my opinion on Chamless. Well, one, I'm actually surprised on that, because if they knew what Chamless did, they would obviously know my thoughts on it. I would think it's dumb. I'd say it's dumb. They did it again. They did it indeed. So yeah, this is the build. This is the build we're going for. A lot of people think you shouldn't have to run Rapier and Hat. I'm running it because it's good anti-cooldowns activation. Again, your number one goal, like in terms of just like this monster, is just to wipe out board. And if you get cooldowns activation upon, you'll still be able to move after a turn. And then you can just do Entangled Cloak and then go to like Epic Quest maybe, or Hat Throw. And the cycle just cleans up from there. Mine's kind of going for anti-cooldowns activation again. That's really what I'm aiming for. If you don't plan, I guess it's in terms of the sense of, if you don't plan on putting this on defense, you could run Sweaty Blade over Rapier and Hat. I think the catch is, again, it's just that cooldown. The only reason I'm running Rapier and Hat is just for cooldown value. That's the only reason I'm running it. The damage is lower than Sweaty Blade. Sweaty Blade also has a DOT built into it. I don't think it need. I think it need, just in the case of the event you do get cooldowns activation. If this thing does get cooldowns activation and you're not running a, the extra turn, if you're not gonna, if you run this and you get cooldowns activation, you're down for 2 turns. I feel like that's so huge for a monster that is meant to clear right away. I think that's huge. Yeah, we're running this build. Rapier and Hat also gets increased damage with Epic Quest, because Nature Weakness, you do 50% more damage to them. So that's just kind of what we're going for here. This is the build I think I'm satisfied with. A lot of people think Voltic is the better monster between the two, simply because he has a spammable extra turn skill. I feel like that's, while it is nice, I still think Priceless is basically the better, like, it is hands down the better Voltic. 1, he has a weakness with his kit, and he has 3 skills that are element based, not special based. So you're like 3 other skills are doing more damage than they normally do. I find that huge. Voltic has no weakness skills with his, kit. He struggles with thunder tanks for the most part, I feel like. Which isn't all that. There's not many thunder tanks in the game, but I feel like Voltic struggles with that. With Chamless, even though there's a lot of nature tanks in the game, him having the access to weakness just kind of nullifies that. If you're running like a damage rune, like a really high-end damage rune and a stamina rune, it doesn't really matter if they're really tanky. But again, this is the build we're going for. I'm not going to be able to show you guys like the full set on here, like in terms of runes, but run a strength and like a strength, stamina, and a speed rune. So we're going to run the strength rune on him. the level 5 strength rune. I don't have anything else to give him at the moment. This is really the only rune I can give him. You could run a strength and like a stamina and a speed. You could run 2 speeds and a stamina. I will say the benefit for 2 speeds and a stamina Prince Charmless, you go over the other enemy's Charmless, which might be clutch in quite a few situations, depending on their relic build. I will say, relics, depending on the relics, you could probably just pub stomp the enemy Charmless. It's also probably a good defense build. Again, with the extra turn monsters, they get so many turns and they might as well just kill things just like the squishies on turn 1. Like they can very well do that. They can kill deniers, they can kill squishy attackers. Charmless isn't too tanky of a monster. So to have, again, just applying the weakness, if you do land the weakness, I think you're pretty much guaranteed to KO Charmless, unless they are running Healing Mask. Oh, I should have unequipped the relics I wanted to use for this video. So we're gonna go over here and hook up with the sword and the Healing Mask. I think that was on glitch, right? No, it's not on glitch anymore. Where's the Healing Mask? We're gonna run the Healing Mask on Chamless. So let's go over here and okay, so just real quick though, alternatives. In all honesty, Healing Mask is one of the better things to give it because it guarantees you survivability over other Charmless, possibly. I think that can be pretty clutch at times. You could run Exhaust Mask. This is to counter other Charmless as well. This might be better, or at least guarantee you're not going to die from Charmless instantaneously if they do prioritize Charmless first, but it doesn't guarantee his survivability. I think that's huge. You have to pretty much have this guy hit you twice, and it could possibly kill you at that point. I think that's huge. But you are for sure to guaranteed save your other 2 monsters. I feel like a defense running 2 stamina draining relics can be pretty huge in countering Charmless. I'd say it's really, really, really huge. Even when they're running the the stamina rune, the X stamina rune. A lot of Charmless, you'll see a lot of them run a X stamina rune. People might take their X stamina runes off their Voltics and run it on Charmless, again, because Charmless is just the better Voltic. Even though they are running the X stamina rune, the Exhaust Mask is pretty much guaranteed, or like, the stamina draining, or like what have you, it's pretty much guaranteed to stop a Charmless advances. Or at least lose a whole bunch of turns, and they lose a lot of turns with when they get hit by the Exhaust Mask or any other stamina draining relic. You could run Energy Mask. This is a relatively good pick-me-up. If you do max this out, it's probably going to be enough to get you enough stamina to Oko a Denier maybe, or a Squishy Damage Dealer that's below ranking, for example. I don't know if it's enough to kill a tank, though. I don't know if you get much stamina return, or at least enough moves to kill a tank, but you will for sure you might get enough to get the job done on a stamina, the Denier or the Damage Dealer. In terms of a defensive option, I'm saying if someone were to stamina drain your entire team, let's say they're running a Thetis, you run this, this could give you enough to kill the enemy's Thetis. Again, the number one priority with any given defense, really, is to take out coins from the enemy. And I feel like a 2-speed and a stamina Charmless does just that. Like, it's probably going to go for a squishy. It does usually go for monsters with the lowest base life first, for the most part. I will say putting this thing on defense, one of the possible things that could happen is it swaps targets. Like, it goes for someone completely different than his main target. So I think that could be a potential flaw in running him on defense. He might go for someone else. So I think that's pretty huge. But yeah, you can either run Energy Mask the exhaust mask or the healing mask for this monster. Pick it based on war situation. If there's a lot more stamina drainers, run the energy mask. If there's a lot of damage dealers that could possibly kill him, run either the healing mask or the exhaust mask for just specific countering. But healing mask gives you a lot of sustainability. I will say between healing mask and exhaust mask, healing mask gives you more survivability versus other things that people bring if they don't decide to bring a Chamless as well. But exhaust mask guarantees you survival over Chamless, I think, or at least I have a higher probability of everyone else living. I will say if you're running, let's say, okay, in all honesty, let's say you're running a reviving monster, you don't have to be concerned with healing at that point. Like if you're running a fatted on your team, your odds are your fatted will bring back Chamless, so you might not have to go with healing recovery. But you know, exhaust mask, you know, you could do that, or I suppose the exhaust. If you're running the fatted, you might not want to run exhaust mask because it could drain the fatted stamina, and that doesn't sound too good. So pick and choose wisely. Because you're gonna, like, if you do trait, let's say you do Trader Eater, this actually procs exhaust mask at that point. So you just don't go for that play. If you're gonna Trader Eater your Chamless, go for like run like a healing mask or something on Chamless. Don't go for exhaust mask if you go on Trader Eater. But in the case of the event, you just bring him back naturally. If he just dies, you can just bring him with the revival, and exhaust should not proc at that point. But for this vid, we are running the healing mask and we are running the sword. I wish this thing could hold an amulet, because then you could run the supercharge amulet. That would have been busted, but that would have been a really great item for him. Ice-breaking greatsword is basically one of the two swords that exist in said category. This basically gives you armor, 30,600 points of armor to be specific, whenever you hit a stunned or frozen target. Now, he himself doesn't freeze or stun, but if you're running like a support that also has built-in stun or freeze capabilities, Talika, for example, has a lot of shielding and stamina regen and stunning built in too, so he can proc his ice-breaking greatsword with that. So this is the setup. We're gonna take him to adventure map and run him with a few monsters. Let's say you're just a player's just starting out, and all you really have is, you don't really have any X stamina runes yet, or just like you just don't have all the runes locked on him. So we're gonna go over here to this Lord Mammoth fight. We're gonna run Chamless. This isn't a player fight, so I don't really, remember when I said I was only ever going to use him against other Chamless Chamless or Voltic players. This is an AI fight, so I think I can excuse, dungeon, you can totally dungeon clear. It's not a player's defense. You should only ever feel, again, for me personally, I don't feel good using this against players that aren't running Chamless, or just not running the same tactic. So I'm never going to use this on someone that's not going to use said tactic. But this is an AI fight, so I can bring whenever. I can bring him whenever for a for non-player fights or non-player defense fights. So we're gonna run Totem. So Totem has. Oh, I don't actually run the. I was gonna say we can run Totem, and he can give stamina points to Chamless, but I just realized I don't actually run the buff on him. I've been playing for a long time, so I never I've had him since Old Totem, and I didn't run the stamina skill on Totem for Old Totem. I will say Old Totem probably has you probably get more value with the stamina thing now with that. But if you're not running the stamina rune, Totem's basically a living rune temple, so he kind of gives you whatever you need at the moment. We'll run him, and we'll run. Hey, let's run Talika. We'll run Talika too. Now, this isn't I don't really have any player battles that have Chamless defense on them, so I can't really do a player v player fight. But let's say this is just a setup where you get first punch in for whatever reason. So all you need to do is go do the AoE stun to proc your Ice-Breaking Greatsword for later. You could have also gone. You could have also gone for stamina regen. That's also another play you could have done. For this situation, we're just going to do Mahu Mojo. Get our increased damage. We'll go for apply nature weakness. He does a little hat dab, milady. He does a little hat dab, milady. And we'll see. We already kill him. He's already donezo, my boy. Though. That buff actually doesn't last all too long. But we'll just finish him with the 1 turn cooldown skill. So he's dead. I'll do an extra turn skill. Another extra turn skill. And now we have to recharge. We would have gotten more turns in if I was actually running the X Stamina rune. A lot of you guys probably noticed that I did have the X Stamina rune. I used that for Rune Lord events to get 25 gems per weekly. It's always a nice idea to have a X rune on you at all times, so you do get the gems off that. You will use those gems. You will need those 25 weekly gems for stuff. That's why I keep it. So I'm just gonna recharge here, and so we can just do it again. Rapier and hat. There we go. If you are running Talika, you basically, and if you are running the Rapier and hat, you basically get a free turn in. Because it recovers 28 of your stamina, and if you're not running a, stamina rune, you basically get, just, that's basically a free damage turn for you. Alright, so what's the next thing you can run, Dib? What are other partners you can pair with this man? Since he does apply weakness, I think you can get away without running setup. I don't think you need like double damage setup per se. Even though we just ran Totem. I think Totem's a good, in all honesty, I think Totem's a good option with Prince Chamless because you can give him more stamina or just another strength rune to make up for the... you could basically do that. I'm saying that is a good partner. I will say Totem's a pretty good partner with Chamless because you could give him more stamina, max stamina. You could give him more damage. You could even give him more base life, so the relic procs more. So the next thing I want to try and pair him up with, it's not a good idea. And honestly, it's not. It's not a good idea. I think I said Fatted was an option. I did. I think I did. I don't really think he runs too well with extra turn monsters per se. Because you die spontaneously after 2 turns, and obviously once Fatted goes, odds are it's going to be your Chamless going. That doesn't sound too good to lose the monster right away. So that doesn't really work. What else can you run with Chamless? I will say maybe other nature monsters. Let's see if there's any nature monsters here that could actually benefit from the weakness. Like, let's say you don't need to... Let's say maybe, like, let's say Lotus. He has nature-based denial skills. You could run that and... Oikawa. Let's say Oikawa. I think he had a nature skill. Yeah, I think he had a nature skill. Oh, I don't think I run it, though. Now I'm kind of thinking about it. I don't think I run a nature skill. So I just paused there. I don't think I run a nature skill with Oikawa. We could do El Dino. El Dino has quite a few nature skills. Other monsters can go off from the weakness skill. So let's say you kind of want to spread out your, your damage. So we're going to just do AoE Possession right off the bat. Or I might just stun everyone. I just kind of want to showcase everything here. So we'll do the weakness on, let's pretend this is just a, we'll just put it on this. We'll just put it on the Lord Mammoth and then just kill the other 2. Normally you want to prioritize targets with Chamless, but I think I can get away with not doing that in this video. Because again, the opponents we're facing are just AI from Adventure Map. But you know, you can apply the weakness and let the other monsters take care of it if they also have nature-based skills. Because to take 50% more damage is relatively nice. So we can do this, and then this, do the AoE. We can also give stamina back. Stylotus actually works kind of nice with the, with your boy, Chamless. It does work relatively nice with that. So we'll kill that. That's dead. And it's just board wipe again. If I was actually running the X strength, stamina, and speed, this monster clears relatively fast. Again, extra turn monsters just clean well by themselves. They don't even need setup. All they are really asking for, like just the one thing they're asking for, the one win condition you need to give them, just give them a turn. That's usually all they need is a turn to win. And basically that turn, what I mean by that is like 10 turns, but they get 10 turns in one turn. It's just dumb. It's designed to be dumb. But that's just how the monster works. As you can see here, it's just the teams are going pretty good. What are other good things to run him with? Well, the condition is just him getting a turn in, so if you wanted to be that guy that runs full team speed, I've seen a lot of comps where they'll run the two other monsters with full X team speed, and I've seen that go over main deniers because you are running more team speed. Then again, I see I think that's a 2 speed and a stamina build. I think that you'll see that with a speed and 2 stamina builds for Chamless. If you see that, some people will run full team speed on 2 monsters and just have Chamless go, because that's all you really need. For a lot of the time, because again, he cleans house more often than not. Again, that depends on what you're fighting. If you are fighting someone that's playing smart, you'll probably fight. They'll probably bring stamina draining. I will say stamina draining is huge when countering this monster. So that's a thing. Invarv's always been great with extra turn monster. Just hands down one of the best monsters to pair it up with here. We'll show you why here. So we're actually going to run Invarv. We'll run our Invarv. We'll run Ahmadina. And show you why it's just kind of a good idea to run him with Chamless. I actually don't need to do anything with Ahmadina here. It's kind of because I didn't think Invarv was faster than Chamless, but it is because of the speed runes. So we're just going to do encouragement here, and he should be able to clean house. This is why Invarv's really, really good. Any monster that really does stamina regeneration and regen at the same time is just good with any monster that runs full extra turn in their kit. So we're going to kill their Lord Mammoth first. And you see, we pretty much got all of our stamina back, and we can do that again. We basically get 2 free turns in. That's all that really is, or equates to. We get 2 free turns in. So we'll do the 1 turn skill on that. We'll do Entangle Cloak. See all the good cycling here. We're able to cycle well with our kit. It's all about cycling your attacks. We also got our ultimate. That's also a common thing. We'll save that for the end. So we'll do a heavy damage on this miss. That's fine. And then go for ultimate. If we were running an extra strength rune, it would have been game a long time ago. But you see all that cycling. This is just all about cycling. That's why, again, that's kind of why I hate the any monster related to Voltic, really. I think it's just too good. It's too good to be in the game. There's really no thought. It's really just something that takes no thought in the way the system works. You know, in terms of a turn-based game, like to have infinite, pretty much a good deal of turns that cleans house way too easy. It's just too good. it's guaranteed victory pretty much, as long as you meet the condition of it getting a turn in, and the enemy's not running like stamina draining relics. I will say for the most part, relics kind of almost kills the. I will say it almost kills the concept of just spammable extra turn skills, or like a full moveset, like monsters that really rely on that, like Voltic and Charmless. But like you'll see a lot of people that do fight them either run monsters that don't do that. So that's kind of falls behind, or like it guarantees them more turns in. But that's a good way to counter them. If you're really hating Charmless at the moment, I think your best option is to run things on defense that can run Exhaust Mask or stamina draining relics, like the Avenging Staff. Anything that replies after being hit, I think that's the best way to go about it. I will say one thing Charmless has over Voltic that he doesn't. All of his skills are single target based. So that means like if you are fighting like a Voltic, for the most part Voltic goes for static shocks, which it's an AoE residue damage. It hits one person but hits everyone else. I think that it has a risk of proccing the stamina draining returns. I think that does run the risk of that. This monster runs all single target skills, so it usually will prioritize for the most part. I will say this thing kind of loses damage if he does kind of stray from his single target. This thing's very, very single target oriented. As you saw in the in our fights, it was there was the more I strayed from the target I had put my weakness on, I lost damage output. That's kind of the thing that's kind of the thing you do when you're not prioritizing a single target. For the most part, you do prioritize a single monster, and you usually get good results. They're usually dead. This monster is really, really good. Overall, I wasn't really wrong in my judgments. It is just busted. It is busted. And I'm not even running the fully optimal rune set yet. I'm not running the stamina rune. I didn't get as much turns in as I could have. I was running Invarv. Again, run Invarv or just anything that gives life and stamina regen to the team. Those are just really good monsters to pair it up with, hands down. You get life sustain, you get stamina sustain, and you just keep moving. There are counters for this thing, but I feel like a lot of people don't have them ranked up. I'd say a really good. Let's say you're looking for nature counters. What are things in the nature category? Well, this is kind of a just kind of a bland. Kind of a bland thing because books are a thing now, so it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be able to bring them. But just in terms of a nature stand, let's say you run like nature monsters, all right? What in the nature category really counters this monster? One, I think Oikawa. I think Oikawa is a good pick. One, because he has naturally high base life. It's a tanky monster. Now, tanks for the most part get shredded because of the weakness skill, but you also got to keep in mind of relics. One, this thing's already naturally tanky, and two, he has recovery skill, so he can recover from damage. And three, he's also able to run a mask, so he could run the exhaust mask, and then he also has the armor plate, so he can run a armor relic. You could give him the heavy duty relic for shielding. So pretty much protecting him from epic quest. I will say, if you are running a monster that can run a chest plate, you basically protect yourself from a hit of nature weakness damage. I will say that's pretty huge. that can be pretty clutch. I'm not gonna lie, and it gives you another opportunity to proc the other proc off exhaust mask, because I think exhaust mask procs twice, right? I think that was the thing. So we're just going to go over to my Oikawa here because he can hold a exhaust mask. This procs twice? Yeah, it does. So you'll for sure get both procs off. I will say the exhaust and a chest plate is probably a great anti-charmless setup. You might want to go for that. What else can you go for? Or again, anything with a stamina draining setup, like staff and a chest plate. It's the same scenario pretty much. Anything that just drains the stamina off the monster. I will say put it on things that Prince Chamless would probably want to prioritize on. If you can, if you're running a denier that can run like a staff and a chestplate, which is a really rare sight to see, that might be a good way to go. I feel like double trap, like a lot of deniers have double trap. If you are running double stamina drain traps, I feel like that's a good way to go about it too. However, you might die in 2 hits. Well, then again, if they're running the strength rune, you might be able to live through that and get both procs. I will say double stamina drain trap is also a good way to go. Again, the moment this thing loses stamina, it loses playability. It loses playability if it gets cooldowns activated, especially if it's not running the 1-turn cooldown, and it especially loses playability as soon as it runs out of stamina. As soon as this thing runs out of stamina, it just like loses its biggest momentum. But yeah, that's really it with Chamless. It's not too complicated of a monster, just get its turns in, and for the most part you will win if the enemy's not prepared for it, or just prepared for it in the wrong way. They were kind of banking of denying it with freeze or possession. Possession's not really good against it, but like they tried to stun it or freeze it, and they just missed the deny because of the 20% chance likely to miss. And then you can just go for game. For the most part, that's kind of the thing with it. It's just RNG at that point. RNG, if you miss the deny, then you lose. If you don't stamina drain it, you kind of lose. Build its relics for the situation that it calls for. You really just gotta take a look at what people can bring to the table, and then just go from there. If running the healing mask is something you need to do, run the healing mask. If it's something situation where you need to run stamina recovery, run something run the energy mask, or just run a denier with banner. If they can go over your enemy, like your denier, and you can run the energy banner, just run the energy banner. You get some stamina back, and you'll probably get enough to do your combo. Odds are you'll focus on something. That's a good way to win. Or just double banner and let this thing go last in the turn order. You could do that if you run like a support that runs 2 speeds and 1 team speed, which seems like an odd setup. But you could do that. Again, totally war dependent, battle dependent situation. But if you bring the right relic slots, you're guaranteed to win. I feel like this one offers a lot of sustain. Even if you don't run the healing mask, if you're running a freezer or a stunner, you get the benefit from Ice-Breaking Greatsword. So that's pretty good. Again, he's just got a really good sustain setup. But that's it with Prince Chamless. Let me know if I missed anything. Did you guys like this video? Sorry I complained a lot about this monster. Again, not the kind of guy that likes these kind of play-the-box monsters that that people say that it's not skillful. That's fucking that's a garbage. That's a garbage statement. There's no skill with this monster. Is high competitive because the kit's broken. Like, granted, that's with a lot of competitive monsters in the game, but this one's guaranteed to. It's a set that's guaranteed to win regardless. It has nothing to do with the double deny. It has nothing to do with double deny. It has nothing to do with just getting your ult and win. You're pretty much just straightforward. Get a bunch of turns in, and it's the damage dealer, and it's in a game where everyone's glassy, and it's on like a turn-based system. Everyone in a turn-based system, it's just like it should be all like turn-based. Maybe like 1 or 2 extra turn skills, sure, but no one monster should have the ability to just keep going endlessly through various oversights that the creators made. You can run stamina recovery relics. You could run buffs that regen stamina. There's so many things you can do, and it's bothersome that they made another monster like this. But those are my final thoughts on it. That's everything. Everything you need to know. And my first impressions, I think it's busted. I don't think I'd make a journal on it because it's just simple. It's such a simple monster. There's really no complications with it. It's exactly how I envisioned in my guide. It's so it's word to word. That's it for this video. I'm just the awesome. Catch you guys later.